Here I am. Hi, everybody. Is the sound okay? Hi, Rick. Hi, Manheim. Wait, Maynardland. Maynard Marine. Marine in Japan. Is that right? Hi from Osaka. Hey, Don. Hi, and ask something. El Primero. Yeah. Seth Morley. How are you? Oh, a Maynard in Japan. Hey, you're from New England then, I take it. Hey, Bruce. How's it going? Uh, Jan, how are you? Nino, hey Clyde, thanks. Um, Today, what I wanted to do, hi Ed, hi Warren, is to sort of come up with some of the scariest watch stories that you have. I hope you have some good ones. The one I wanted to start off with was a horror story that in my case had a it didn't have a bad ending. There was no good ending to it. Hi, Beal, Donald. Uh, what happened was that this was 4 or 5 years ago. I forgot when it was. And in fact, I really wish I'd taken screenshots of this character. What happened was at the time I was looking for an FP Journe. In fact, I was looking at a blue or some other ones like that. And at the time, there were a lot of blues around, but they were all around 1920, something like that, right in that area. And I wanted to get the best price I could. So this guy had this one in where was he? He was in Australia. And so, I forgot where I contacted him. It was either on eBay or Chrono 24, one of those two. And so, I hadn't seen what they have you do at Chrono 24 is to have you put the time on your watch. So I asked the guy. I said, can I see, take a, you got a picture of it? And I forget what kind of, I'm trying to remember what kind of, how we were communicating, but well, anyway, we had some communication going. I wish I had, like I said, I wish I had saved it. So the guy shows me this watch and yeah, it was a little blurry, but it was, looked okay to me. So I said, would you mind doing this for me? Would you, and I gave him a time to set it to. He said, okay. So oh, must have been, I don't know, several hours later, he comes back and he has this thing picture, except now the watch is at the time I'd asked for. So I thought, well, okay, I guess it's looking okay. I said, well, let me give you one more time and we'll see what we can do. So anyway, so the guy, a couple hours later, and, and this is the thing that I've come to depend on. All right, and it's totally unscientific on everything. And a friend of mine used to say if a person's socks squeak, if something's wrong, but you don't know quite what it is. Well, this guy's socks are squeaking all over the place. And what I finally realized he was doing, every time I asked him to reset the time, he'd go back and Photoshop the hands and then come out with this same hand, except there was a watch and some hand that came up. But I noticed that the hand was always exactly in the same place. And so I finally backed out of that one. But when you have, you can save $5,000, $10,000, you get really interested. And this was a goes to that sort of that thing about if a deal is too good to be true, it probably is. And this was one of those deals. But like I said, it had a happy ending because it just didn't feel right. And when anything doesn't feel right, my advice to anyone, even though you feel, well, I'm losing the greatest deal in the world, you're probably not. All right. So anyway, so tell me about your worst story. Okay, and that's something you got. Let's see, is also ended well. Oh, good. The seller had a last minute crisis of honesty and said, there is a big search on the on the big scratch on the crystal. You can't see it in the pictures, but I told you, right? Yeah. that that was another one. Oh, I don't. The people I who were the bad ones I dealt with didn't have a crisis of conscience. One of the things that I sort of use as a something is going on is that if they say, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, or I'm gonna be away on a business trip tomorrow. So if you want to do this, we got to do this. So anyway, there was this guy in Germany, and trying to think which watch it was. I think it was at the time. I think I was looking for an Audemars Piguet with a moon phase. I had to have a moon phase, and I liked Audemars Piguet. So this guy had one, and look, had a good price on it. And so I started going back and forth with the guy on it, and started asking things. And oh, he was going to be here, and then he was going to be there. I had learned, don't do it. Somebody is, oh well, I'm leaving town, or I'm going on holiday, or doing this or doing that. So the idea would be you send the guy some money, and you don't get your watch, and you don't get your watch, and oh well, he's on vacation. And the time you get around to realize that you've been had, kaboom. Okay, so let's see what you got here. What do you have? Um, Rick, buy the seller before you buy the watch. Yeah, Rick, that's exactly right. You buy the seller. This is another thing too to prevent horror stories. You get you look the person up. I mean, the guy in Australia, I looked up. He lived in this little bitty town. It was, I don't know, Platypus Junction or something like that. Just this little bitty town with some funky name to it. Now, I live in a funky little town, so I don't know if that's a great criteria. But I think it's always good. One of the things too that you might do, what I did is that in this little town, I looked up to see if there was a jewelry store, and what I was going to do, I was going to buy it through the jewelry store. I was going to say, look, take this watch to the jewelry store, and I'll send the money to the jewelry store. I'll have them check it out first. Now, of course, if they are in cahoots with the guy, then I'd be boiled. But yeah, like I said, when something's not right, no matter why you think it's not right, it's like time to adios. I try to stay away from use deals from individuals. Have had good experience on the gray market, especially a touch of modern. Well, that's good to know. I've heard, Nino, I had heard some people had some, they got what they got from the touch of modern wasn't what they had hoped to get. But I have heard other people say, hey, it's great. And boy, I tell you one thing, they'll come up with some really good prices. One of the things I found out, though, is that a lot of times I'll see some big price. They're having a 24-hour sale, and then I'll just look around and there's one for the same price somewhere else. So, it's one of those things. You one of years and years ago, my father-in-law said the last good deal hasn't been made yet. So never think that, oh, if you pass this one up, there'll never be another one. That's not true. There's always some really, really great deal. I just had two in the last month, and just they were just amazing. So, and I was waiting, and bide your time, be patient. That works really well. Okay, let's see what you got. As a pilot, you know that when you think go around, you really have the answer. Clawset is the best example. That is the very best example. I was going into this dirt field in Mexico, and this guy was at the trying to talk me down. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, one of those weird things. I kept coming and said, "Oh, do this and do that." And I finally told him, I said, "Look, just shut up." I had to go around two or three times. Please, just I'll land the thing, and went right in. But you're right. If you the best pilots, good and bad pilots, aren't isn't a matter of being able to fly the plane. It's good and bad decisions. Um, it's just you don't if you make a bad decision, I don't care how good of a pilot you are, you can get in trouble. I think that some recent ones have shown that, and it's really sad. Okay, what's up now? Feedback at the time, it seemed positive, but a year later they claimed they never got my money. Uh-oh. Who was that with? Uh, Maynard in Japan. I checked. What was the feedback for Maynard? Almost 2,500 bucks. Wow. Yeah. Rick, Rick, yeah, you pivot smells bad, boy. And it doesn't matter why. Maybe you're wrong. I mean, it just, you know, it's better. I mean, let's say, even if you are wrong, you're not passing up the best deal that's ever going to come along. You just passed up a deal. And okay, so you missed it. So what? Um, hey, Roadhit, how you doing, man? Watch Lounge. Mark from Long Island watches is good if you like German watches. You know what? I bought two or three watches from Long Island, and I got my little Seiko 5 there. Those guys are great. My experience has been great, and I haven't talked to anybody who hasn't had a really great experience with them. So that's one that I think would, talking about buying a seller, he's a guy that I trust. There's some other people I know. There was a guy that I shouldn't have trusted, and I got these great deals from, but he was straight with me. It was a little worried about it. Um, he sounded like Boris Badenoff, but he wasn't. He's a cool guy. Would you mind calling me if you get a chance today? I'll do it. Not a problem. Ordered a reverso chrono yesterday via chrono. Let's see what happens. Oh, no idea. I hope it works out. Yeah, I have talked to some people who've had horrendously bad experiences with Chrono 24 as buyers, not as sellers, but as buyers. What has happened is that they'll buy a watch, and the person who's supposed to send them the watch doesn't, or they send it, and once it's sent, then the money's released, and it turns out the watch isn't what they expected, or something goes wrong with it. What I do with, and I've had nothing but good luck with them, so I'm not. I mean, as a buyer, I've had, like I said, nothing but good luck. The the thing though that you really need to do if you're going to buy through Chrono 24, and they have that time between they release the funds and you check out the watch, what I've learned to do is check that watch right away and make sure it's the right one. This is one I got recently. Checked it out, and it's just great. I mean, it's almost giddy, silly great. Okay, let's see what's going on. I have my eyes on a JLC Reverso dual face tribute 1931 blue dial saving for it. Sounds good. Hey, Alton. Uh, okay. It is a brick and mortar shop. Yeah, that's another thing that you can do. Try to find the address of the person selling it, and it's not too hard to do. And to me, literally, I'd go down there, make a big stink. They really wouldn't want to see this old guy coming down raising hell. He gets somebody in a beret. You never know what they're gonna do. Let's see. What you got going? I have good experiences both buying and selling on C24. Yeah, most of the people I know have, but I know some people who have had some objectively bad things. Uh, I've had the same thing with eBay. God, you can hear all kinds of horror stories from eBay. I've had nothing but, well, I had one bad experience that wasn't eBay's fault. That was because the seller wasn't exactly straight with me. And it took me a while to realize it. Once I did, it was sort of too late. Hey, Dave, hope you never have a problem with Klarna. Their customer service is worse than appalling. I had to get my credit card company to resolve it. Yeah, Dave, this is what I've heard. Exactly. And so, you know, you you got to be careful with them. Okay, let's see. What is it? If you're into micro brands, check out Watch Gauge. John is good people. Bought from him. There's another guy I've heard a lot of good things about, and that's a Collected Man. Now he's in England. in London, I think. And if you're really high end kind of watches, he's supposed to be very, very good. And so is TikToker. So those are a couple places that I've heard from people. I've never done anything with them myself. But hey, Seabig. Hey, Crappy, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. I would only buy from a long established authorized retailer. No stress, no mess, no worries. Yeah, me, I stress and worry and wring my hands. I, I got. Hey, Thomas, as a buyer, don't buy any watch if you don't have a means to reverse the transaction if item is not as advertised. That is the only safe way to purchase. And videotape the receipt of the pack. Videotape? Nobody's using videotape anymore. But you should make a video record of it. Even I know that. Let's see, for higher ends, an ad I work with. Okay. Hey, geezer. Ivan, what's up? After the Horology House news. Oh, tell me about the Horology House news. There was something I heard about it, and I've been really busy and didn't follow. Tell me what happened at Horology House. I think I'll stick to AD for my next Omega, peace of mind, but also 5-year warranty for California, 20% more. Yep. I tell you what, if and I think Crappy said it pretty well. If your peace of mind, you know, if you're if you're I don't know. As soon as I get really burned badly, then my peace of mind may change. But I just be careful. Um, okay, let's see. Come on, let's hear some horror stories. Okay, after what is the? Tell me about the Horology House. That sounds like a bad. Horology House sold a fake ceramic Daytona and sold other dodgy watches. Oh, okay, that's no good. Just ordered a genuine 2824 movement from an eBay seller in Switzerland. Price was 130 for new plus $10 shipping plus eBay taxes. Forbin, that is where I go for my watch parts. I buy a lot of stuff from eBay and AliExpress, but these things are relatively inexpensive, and so it's this a little different. I mean, 130 bucks isn't something you can afford to lose every day, but yeah, those they have some good deals. Places like Chrono 24 and some of these bigger places, and they're not going to mess with some inexpensive little thing like that. So yeah, how why is it why do places like Horology House who got caught selling fake Daytonas or anything else? Why do they do it? Don't they know they're going to get nailed on that? This is what I can understand is that you know this is why to me it's super important for us as watch collectors to really know this stuff. I mean, not only know who the bad ones are, know who the good ones are, and know something about what we need to know about. The one time I got burned was that the model of the watch that I bought had an ETA in it, and I called Switzerland, and the SOBs lied to me. And so that was sort of a hard one to take. But ever since then, it certainly alerted me. For a pilot watch, my brother gave. Oh, okay. Just ordered his genuine right movement. Good. Bell's books, Able books. I bought a Jard Perigot and a glass from a seller on eBay. Dumb. It was, oh boy, Westerbender from the Ukraine. From the Ukraine. Oh boy. I told you guys my Ukraine story. that was I was supposed to. They were going to send it with a courier, and what they were doing is that they were smuggling them using stewardesses. And what I was supposed to do is send them half the money and then go meet her in New York to get my watch. I just, I, I just thought that would be what an adventure that would be. I'd take a bunch of friends with me in case I got mugged or something. But you know, it was like, oh man, this was was such a good buy, and it wasn't great, but it was a good, a pretty good buy for the watch. They were gonna bring it in on that. They used to go to South America and smuggle jewels that way. Hey, geezer, horology house. Yeah, okay. So, okay, what else is going on? What are in us Australians and watches don't go hand in hand? I don't know. There are some really good places in the Ukraine. One of the boutiques of all places for FP Journe to open up a boutique, he opened one up in Kiev. I mean, there aren't that many FP Journe boutiques, but there's one in Kiev. Um, I think that's maybe so all of the Russian oligarchs who can't buy them in Russia because of the invasion of the Ukraine and so forth that Russia had done. But they still have, there's still a lot of connections. God knows what they're going to do. Um, hey, Javier. Okay, let's see what else is going on. I bought a $70 swatch 8 years ago from Macy's, respectable store and customer service. No worries, no stress. Didn't have to worry about it being a cheap replica. Yeah, it was a bargain to begin with. There's some there are some watches that I like that I just don't think anybody would bother to make a fake of. Right now, one of the ones that I happen to like is the Jaja Lecoultre True Second, and here you have this Remontois in the thing that's giving it jumping seconds. I can't. I can see some guys. Oh boy, let's try to fake this thing. If they can fake a Remontois, I'll buy it. That's those kinds of things. But the poor guys I think who get the worst are Rolex fans. Yeah, these guys, they love their watches and stuff, and you try to save a few bucks, and man, it's like stepping into a landmine. I tell you, I have. I don't avoid Rolexes because of that, because I actually have an AD not too far from where I live. Uh, okay, let's see what else is going on. Insane in the Ukraine, yeah. Hey Ralph, let's see. Buy new eliminates most fears. Yeah, I got this watch, my latest edition, and it was what they call, I guess, it was about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, uh, and it had the everything about it, everything I wanted. It had the movement I wanted. It had this. It had that. Everything, and it was new. It was basically they hadn't sold it, and so it'd been around for a while, and they gave me a great deal on it. So this is, you can do that, and I think H Moser's. I don't know if I don't know who's been if anybody's been faking those or not. They probably have. I mean, you go to these, even if you look up a legitimate watch for a legitimate watch, half the time I've end up at a site online that says replica watches. It's not hard. Okay, come on. Hey, you guys have some bad stuff that happened. Let's see. Buying new. Okay. Hey, Malob. Hi, Mezzine 44. Paul. Hey, Paul. Stacking Zerps. Do you trust the website Chrono 24? You know, uh, when it comes to that, I've heard really good things and I've had good experiences, but I've also heard bad things. And so let me put it this way about Chrono 24. Um, I, if you're using Chrono 24, find out as much as possible about who the seller is. As it goes back to the thing we've been talking about, by the seller. I mean, if you've got a seller who's, sellers can make a lot of money, and by cheating people, that's they basically shoot themselves in the foot. So I think that they're aware of that. Okay, just ordered a Speedster racing watch from Japan via Chrono 24, and FedEx is making me feel custom formed. I wonder how much I have to pay for import duty. Import duties on watches, I think, are like 1.2%. They're very low. Going through customs is a hassle, though. whatever you do, do not buy a watch with a gator strap that has to come across the borders. The way they have sights, to me, I think sights is important, but all they'd have to do is put a little chip in a farmed gator strap, and boom, this problem solved. But instead, they have all of this paperwork, and if you figure fill out the paperwork, what happens is that a lot of places, if you buy a watch overseas, no matter what overseas is, the US is overseas to people in Europe and vice versa, or in Asia. If you buy something overseas, it goes through customs, it goes through sites, and unless you have these big sites certificate, they're going to stop it. And then you have to go through all of this rigmarole. It's rough. Okay, Chrono 24 is just a platform, not a seller. Anyone can buy and sell on C24. It's a good platform, but do your homework on the seller. Exactly. Couldn't put it better, Rick. Rick is exactly right. If you don't do your homework, even if you do it sometimes, you can get burned. So it's, this is why, like what Crappy was saying, he's saying, go to your AD to have none of those worries. That can happen. Okay, do you ever match a watch with your headwear? Yeah, all of my watches match my headwear. Hans, what are you talking about? Let's see, genuine dinosaur strap. Yeah, you know. Oh, I got to tell you, this is one they had a watch that was for sale. In fact, I don't know if you can still get them, probably not. But they had a watch made from a fossil a mastodon tusk that had been. They found a fossil and they got a hunk of the tusk and they made the movement on it. This is from Lang and Hein. I would love to have one of those. They dug up the thing. They didn't go out and knock off a mastodon. They're extinct. Okay, the Gator Croc situation is unacceptable. The manufacturer originally did the site's paperwork. They should have it included. Yeah, it's unfortunately, NS something, it's not that simple. That's the problem. They made it so convoluted that, what I'd do, I'd get the watch, and a couple of days later, I'd get a letter and open it up, and there was a Christmas card, and inside there were my straps. And this is why you want to make legal easy, and all they would have to do is put in one of those little chips that you get in a greeting card that that plays the Hallelujah opera or something. Let's see. White dial watch with your Panama hat. Oh, with my Panama hat. Yeah, I got a white dial for that one. Okay, so any issues from European watch company? Eddie, I bought one watch from them and really I had to haggle like mad. I got my what was a new old stock, very old stock that had been for my Beauvais Monorecra Ponte. Now that was from 1940. The watch was, and but it was unused, and but it was any watch that old, stuff was going to happen to. And so what they did is that the loom, they either removed the loom and reloomed it with something that was now wouldn't wouldn't make you a radioactive monster, but they reloomed it, and that bothered me because it looked a little chunky. Somebody reloomed it, and then the regulator was pushed all the way over. I'm not sure whether it was slow or fast, but it keeps good time. It's a Valjoux 84 movement. So it was sort of like, you could have said something about the loom, or you could have said this, or, a little more information. But that's the worst thing that's happened with me from them. But, they're just up here in Boston. I probably, if I wanted to get something from them, I'd just go to the store. About an hour and a half drive up there. Is about to ban alligator. Rick, they already did. January 1st. No more gator straps. Boom. I think it's already been banned. Hey, Bobby Legs, how you doing, man? Uh, okay, wonder how did you get the guts to buy from the Middle East and pay up front? I think you got that German watch from there. Yeah, I did. I have friends in the Mid East. I got it from. Oh yeah, they were having a sale from a bank and stuff. There were a bunch of people there that I knew, and I trusted them because I knew the people. Um, Okay, yeah. I Rick, like I said, it was sort of a iffy thing. With Govberg, same thing, except with Govberg, what happened on two occasions, the watch I bought from them stopped working. But the thing is their service was excellent. I sent it back, they fixed it, and it's been like new ever since. So I've got no problem with Govberg at all. I like them. In fact, I got plans for Govberg. Getting here late. Sorry, man. Um, you can get the beginning on the recording. Just went over on vacation to St. John and bought myself a Bell and Ross BRS. Love it, and great deal in duty free. Oh yeah, that's one of the things. Uh, there's a certain kind of auction that Patek Philippe had in New York, and the thing was is that you could go to the airport and pick it up in the duty free shop after you bought it, and then off you went because you'd have because they have something with a duty free shop, so you didn't have to pay on that. And sometimes it can be crazy big. Okay, guys, listen. I've got my I have to run today, but thank you all for coming by. And we're all we have a collection review tomorrow that I think you're going to like. It's a really interesting collection, and a surprise one too. So hope to see you then. Until then, Bill Sanders, Watch Art Sci.